serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is The Man Who Ate the Town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 82 of The Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of September the 10th through the 16th, 2018. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Tim Johnson.
And we are opening the recipe box. We're recording this episode of The Man Who Ate the Town at the new lab at Industry Hill. It is a repurposed building on North Chestnut Street in the old warehouse district of downtown Winston-Salem, what we now call Industry Hill. To find out more, visit industryhill.com. You can also find them on Instagram and Facebook too. They're relatively new. Their accounts are all young and have low numbers as far as followers and stuff now, but they are ramping up their social media, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with soon. So you might need to get some bird scooters or something and throw them in here and just ramp up some controversy or something. I don't know what that is about this town. You know, the old money or the old guard want, I don't like this thing. We don't want those scooters. And why? What does it matter to you? You don't have to get your old ass on one. Hey, there's nobody said, "Hey, old dude, get on this scooter."
Yeah, you must immediately.
Yeah. If you don't want to, don't. Stay out of everybody else's business.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. Once again, we want to congratulate our good friend Chef Travis Myers for winning Chef of the Year from the NCRLA, that is North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association. He beat out 20 other chefs from the state to win this title. Yeah. This just proves really what I've been saying all along, what we've been saying all along. Mm-hmm. He is the best chef in the state, and now we have peer and industry proof beyond just my man love for him to prove it. Congrats to you, Chef Meyer.
All right, Travis.
A couple of changes are coming to Mary's Gourmet Diner. Actually, 3 changes. 2 that I can talk about, and a third I can't yet. So, first, as we have mentioned in the past, Mary Hagland, the queen of all breakfast, has taken a step back from the day-to-day operations of the diner to allow her daughter, Tamise Brewer, to be the general manager, Chef Michael Milan to be the kitchen manager, and Dina Moore is the front-of-house manager. That's not the news, though. Yeah. They are now open 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. 7 days a week. Uh-huh. They were open on Sundays from only 10 to 2 and Saturdays 9 to 3. But they're rounding out the hours now, and everything is uniform 7 days a week, 8 to 2. Other news is they have an all-new menu coming on September 17th. This menu hasn't changed in many a year, and I can't wait to see how it's overhauled.
Excited.
And you've still not been there?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Well,
not yet. I
know. If you go after the 17th, you won't know what you missed before. I won't know what you missed either because I haven't. I don't know what the menu's going to look like. But
still excited.
I'm sure they'll keep the old staples, but we'll probably have a bit more going on. I know they've gotten more adventurous over the last few months in their offerings.
Awesome.
It'll be good. The other thing you'll just have to wait on is I'm sworn to secrecy. Mm-hmm. So how's that for a teaser? Mm-hmm. So, Timmy.
Yes, sir.
As you know, last weekend, the Labor Day weekend, Stephanie and I took a trip and spent 5 glorious days in Beantown.
That's right, folks.
Boston, the cradle of American history.
Boston.
We walked the Freedom Trail, which is the route that Paul Revere took on April 18th, 1775, which incidentally is 237 years to the day before my heart surgery. And contrary to what we were taught in school or even on Schoolhouse Rock, he never said the British are coming. Do you know why he never said that?
And why is that, sir?
Because they were all British.
Yeah,
well, it was,
no, literally.
They were all still British. They still wanted to be British. That's what they wanted when all this crap started with the king, the taxation without representation, all that stuff. Anyway, this is a food podcast. I'm sorry. We stayed in the oldest continuously operated hotel in the country, which is the Omni Parker House, home of the Parker House Rolls and Boston Cream Pie, which incidentally isn't a pie at all. It's a custard cake.
Aha.
But oh well.
Get it right, folks. Get it right.
Yeah, they didn't know any different back then, I guess. And yes, we did try both of those there in its home. We had authentic New England clam chowder. Clam chowder from Sell Loft Restaurant on the harbor front.
Oh, wow.
Now, I will say that King's Crab Shack is pretty darn good. But this was Sell Loft's jam. You know, King's is better than the rest we had up there, though.
Right on.
But it's hard to beat that. So
yeah.
Also at Sell Loft, Stephanie had the fish and chips, and I had the fisherman's platter, which had scallops and shrimp and cod and calamari and all that stuff fried golden brown, and it was so good. And it wasn't overdone. So I mean, the stuff it wasn't soggy either, but I mean, it was the breading was falling off, but it was still cohesive.
Crunchy,
yeah. So it's it's really good.
Nice.
Then we had spaghetti and meatballs, while I had spaghetti and meatballs, and Stephanie had a veal penne dish at a lovely little ristorante called Ristorante Villa Francesca. It's in Little Italy.
Oh, okay.
It's everywhere there's like Italian restaurant, Italian restaurant, Italian restaurant, Italian restaurant, Italian pub, Italian restaurant, Italian restaurant, convenience store, Italian restaurant, Italian restaurant, Italian restaurant, apartments. Yeah. So it was totally Little Italy there.
Nice.
We also had the mozzarella in carrozza, which we could have had with marinara or in a white wine butter sauce. We tried the white wine butter sauce. The only other place that I had ever heard of the mozzarella in carrozza is at Delicio's. And I will say, not because they're my sponsor or that I have become man crush on Tony Delicio or right there. They kill this place with their mozzarella in carrozza. It was much better. It's one of my favorite things on Delicio's menu.
Right.
But Villa Francesca was very good. It was cozy. It was like a little hole in the wall, but it was upscale or just like casual hole in the wall. But it was really good.
A nice ambiance.
Yeah. We had a huge and filling breakfast 2 mornings at this place called Ziggy's Cafe. And it was connected to the Beantown Bar because they actually shared a bar and a pathway between the two of them. I guess they can do that up there. I had this huge omelet with ham and cheese and onions, extra cheese too. Stephanie had an English muffin with sausage and egg on it.
Nice.
We went to this place because everybody tells you gotta have a lobster roll. You gotta have a lobster roll.
True.
Well, we went to a place called Rabbia's and tried the infamous lobster roll. They offered both versions. There was the mayo with celery version and the warm butter version.
Oh, I'm going warm butter.
So Stephanie went with the warm butter and I went with the mayo just so we could try it,
Sure.
And I couldn't pick a favorite between the two. If my mood was one way or another, that'd be different. But I was just expecting to try, and both of them were very good.
Awesome.
Now, I had them at King's Crab Shack, and they were just as good. Now, it could be that I went to a place here in town, or there in Boston, that wasn't the best place in town. I know that one of the best places rated on all the rating sites like Yelp and crap like that was a 5-hour wait. 5 hours. And you had to call ahead, and they would call you when you were ready to sit down.
So they had somebody run out and get the lobster and come back.
I guess so. I don't know.
Wow. 5 hours.
5 hours. That's crazy. So we said, nah. And we went 2 doors down to this place. Now, truth be known, every place in Boston almost had their own lobster roll.
Understandable.
Because it's abundant. It's expensive still. Even though, lobster started off as what they fed the criminals because in jail because they thought it was dirty.
Yeah.
Which it is. The lobster is the cockroach of the sea.
Yeah, it's a Florida.
But it tastes so good.
By God.
In mayo and celery or hot butter.
Delicious.
We ate at the oldest restaurant in the country, which was Union Oyster House. And we had chowder, Boston baked beans, and a half dozen oysters. I will say that there was nothing remarkable about any of those at that place. They were not bad. It was just, okay, I've already had the chowder.
Chowder.
I've had oysters before. I actually like the oysters that we have here better than up there. And it could be just because I'm used to these.
True.
I get it. We had brunch in a little cafe called Cultivar, which is in the Ames Hotel on the Freedom Trail. They had a huge donut, which is big enough for both Stephanie and me. I'm talking this thing was this big. Listeners can't see this big. I'd say 5 inches.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit bigger.
Maybe bigger. We got that and shared it between the two of us. I had a croque madame, a traditional French sandwich. For those who don't know, it's a French battered brioche piece of bread with ham, Vermont cheddar, and poached eggs.
Oh man.
Yeah. And Stephanie had the what's called the Duck Trap smoked salmon Benedict.
Holy cow.
Which was, yeah, I'm like, is there duck in that? And there is no duck. But it's dill cured salmon, Dutch baby, which I don't know exactly. I think that's it's like a pastry or some kind of bread around it. It looks like a trap. Poached eggs and hollandaise sauce. So it was a Benedict, like I said, but it was the Dutch baby it looked odd. I have pictures of it, but it tasted delicious. So both were absolutely divine. We had a couple of beverages there as well.
Nice.
That was our anniversary day.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. But that night we had reservations. That was Sunday for our anniversary, and the place we went was a French bistro called Aquitaine. Aquitaine. It was a great little place, and we had, my only knock on the place was I wish they had been more outwardly French. There was no pictures of the Eiffel Tower. I mean, I know that's a touristy thing, but I mean, if you're going to be a French bistro in the United States, you need to have something that represents France.
Right.
Needs to be a picture of something, the Arc de Triomphe, Notre Dame, something. There needs to be something French. There was no artwork that I saw. It was just, it was decorative things on the wall, but there was no pictures or anything. It was just like decorative. Yeah, I have 2 pictures, and I'm not even a restaurant in the studio, both of Paris.
Exactly.
But anyway, it was a great little spot for food. I had escargot because I love escargot.
Oh.
Are you a fan of escargot?
I actually never had escargot.
Are you afraid of escargot?
No.
Okay. I don't mean afraid like, oh God, snails.
Yeah,
But I know some people just can't fathom the thought of eating snails.
If I can eat oysters, I can eat
It's the
escargot.
same thing. Yeah, because oysters, especially if you eat them raw, they're alive when you eat them. Yeah. I had the escargot. Stephanie had mussels, and of course we switched back and forth. That was our appetizers. I had the steak frite with a Perigord truffle vinaigrette on top of it, and Stephanie had the poulet rôti, which is chicken in the hay.
Oh my!
And it's Vidalia onion mousseline with leeks, parsnips, beach mushrooms, and a sauce chasseur. But it's just a little bitty, not little bitty, but it was a little chicken. It looked cool, and they had done it up, and it looked nice, and the flavors were really, really good. And we had a chocolate bread pudding for dessert that we shared.
Nice.
The cool thing about that was, you've seen me at work when I'm the man who went to town, and I carry my little light, and I take my pictures, and we met with a couple that was sitting with us because these seats were very close. And I can't not talk to the people. So we had little pleasantries. Okay, yeah. And then they wanted to know about me taking those pictures. And so it got to where, will you take pictures of our food too? And I'm like, okay, here you go. And they were just enthralled in the things that I talked about with the food blogging and podcasting and stuff. And things that I guess I take for granted because I do it all the time. And they were just... I'm used to people looking at me funny because I have a reading light hovering over my food, but it was just the whole conversation was great. And that was a really good place for that, too. And they were also they were celebrating 5 years of dating. Oh. They were an older couple. They were, I would say, both in their 50s, early 50s.
From the Boston area, I'm assuming.
She was from Canada and spoke fluent French.
Oui.
Fluent French. And he was from about a half hour outside of Boston, and they just like to come in and have some stuff, you know. Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
And of course, you know, being me, we had beverages throughout the trip.
By God, you better.
We had many a beverage at the Last Hurrah, which is the spirits and cocktail bar that's in the Omni Parker House Hotel. Mm-hmm. We drank in the oldest tavern or bar in the country called the Bell in Hand Tavern. It's been around since 1765.
Oh, my.
We drank in the Green Dragon, which is right across it's not even a street, right across the walkway from the Bell in Hand Tavern. And it was very instrumental during the colony's independence planning and is apparently big with Masons. I don't know. Because the guy said, I'm a Mason, a Mason, and I want to go see the place because it was big with them.
Interesting. My dad was a Mason.
I don't... You know, it's all that secret society stuff for me. Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay, good.
But, yeah, they even have a guy dressed up as a British soldier or a red coat, regular, as you would call it.
Regular.
Yeah. And we eavesdropped on a beer tour that was walking through, and they stopped it there when we were here, and we were sitting right next to them.
Nice.
And they were telling the story of all that, and they said Paul Revere and two other people. It wasn't just Paul Revere, but the one that stayed in Boston was Paul Revere. One went north to Cambridge, and one went south towards Yorktown. And he would say, the regulars are coming. The regulars are coming. Because they were all British. They wanted to be British. They just wanted representation on Parliament that they could make their own rules.
Yes.
And that wasn't happening. He was getting taxes from them, but he wasn't allowing them any say. The taxation without representation. But they were all in regular uniforms. That's where regulation comes from. It's regulation is a standard, right? Mm-hmm. And so they were all in their red coats. So the regulars are coming. The regulars are coming.
Son of a gun.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool to find that out.
Nice.
But they did the planning for this, some of this stuff at the Green Dragon. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's called the Green Dragon, it was a copper dragon, but it oxidized and, copper turns to that really cool lime green color. Yeah. So it's now called the Green Dragon. But it was called the Green Dragon back then.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we walked about 1.5 miles, 2 miles to the Harpoon Brewery.
Harpoon.
Yeah. And then when we got there, we realized Stephanie had forgotten her ID in the hotel. So we had to Uber back to the hotel, get her ID, Uber back to Harpoon, do our tour. We did the tour of the whole brewery.
Nice.
And coming back out, we were like, well, let's just go see, because this is on like the weird outskirts of town, Harpoon is. Let's go see what we come across and so we can have another beverage or something. And there was really nothing where we were that was appealing to us. And what was there either was closed for the season, which the hell season were they closed for? Summer? Don't you think summer would be a good drinking season, especially on the harbor?
Okay.
And incidentally, too, we were in the New England, and it was 95 degrees. Not every day, just this Monday. Was so we kept walking. Eventually, we had walked all the way back to the hotel.
Jeez.
So that day, we had 13,000 steps. Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, there was a lot of beer that we drank.
Oh,
we the first day we got there, we walked around and found Cheers, which is now called Cheers. It wasn't called Cheers when Cheers was on the air.
Right.
It was the Bull and Finch.
Bull and Finch.
Yeah. There was a guy who was an architect, I believe, who designed a lot of the old buildings back then. Called his last name was Bullfinch, so they called the bar the Bull and Finch. But the outside was the inspiration for Cheers. And then they have the awning, just like the going up. It's not Melville's now, but it was Hampton House or something. And there's another bar up top. Now, when you go down the steps to Cheers, it doesn't look anything like Cheers. It's very small. The whole thing's about this size of this studio twice. Really? But you go upstairs where Melville's was in the show.
Yeah.
And it is kind of made to look like the show.
I got it.
So, and that's where the museum is, and you can buy the gift shop stuff, all that. But I did buy a glass that looks like the ones that they drink on, and we had a Cheers beer, which was it was made by Harpoon.
Hey,
but the pull handle, the tap handle, had a bobblehead of Norm.
Love it,
and it was really good. It was a blonde ale that had kind of a honey taste to it. And it was made specifically for them by Harpoon. And they just called it Cheers beer.
Yeah, nice.
But all in all, we had a really, really good time. Lots of good food, lots of walking, lots of sightseeing. Just so much history for this country that, in the past, I've always said I don't really care about American history. It bores me because we were really a bunch of shitty people, going, oh wait, your people are already here. That's okay, we'll claim it anyway. But for what we are now, there's so much history there. I'm interested in that part. I think just the revolution and just prior to it. I love history. I like the Egyptian and Japanese, and I have this weird fascination with the Mongolian history. Genghis Khan is something that I'm very interested in. But after this trip, I will definitely go back to Boston. And if the cost of living wasn't so bad, and I didn't have the contacts and the life that I have here, I would consider moving there, even though it's colder than
when it gets cold.
Shit, whenever it's in the winter. I don't mind cold. Stephanie doesn't like cold, so we'd survive.
Yes.
But anyway, Boston's great, and if you've never been to Boston, I do recommend that you go. And I will hopefully this week get to write the blog post about the food in itself, and then also on my daily blog, Useless Things Need Love Too, to actually do like a travel memoir or whatever from that trip. So,
great idea. Could be a good read.
I hope so. Food holidays for this week.
Woo-hoo.
And I apologize if my voice is extra low today. I've just got over some weird sinus something this weekend. And I always love the way my voice sounds whenever I get sick, but I can't sing and I can't talk long. I have to keep drinking stuff because it's hard.
Clear the theme.
Yeah, the phlegm is in my way. The 10th of September, which is today, is National TV Dinner Day. The actual date that Swanson introduced TV dinners is in dispute. It's either today in 1953 or April 6, 1954. So, as this is the 10th, we're going to go with it's the 10th.
I like it.
9/11 is obviously 9/11, but it's also National Hot Cross Bun Day.
Ooh.
The 12th is National... Does she?
Yeah, she knows this.
The 12th is National Chocolate Milkshake Day. Does Bertha Dillon love those too?
I don't know, but I do. I'm sure she does.
The 13th, besides being my friend Clay Howard's birthday and my business partner John Louder's birthday, it's National Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day, National Peanut Day, International Chocolate Day, Fortune Cookie Day, National Celiac Awareness Day, which is in honor of the doctor who identified a link between celiac disease and a diet. So his name was Dr. Samuel Gee, a leader in celiac research, was born on September 13th, 1839. It's also Roald Dahl's birthday.
Roald Dahl's.
Yeah, the Roald Dahl that wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach, Willy Wonka, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The 14th is Eat a Hoagie Day, National Bakery Day, and which we can recommend. Of all the bakeries in our fine city are
Indeed.
wonderful, but especially the Humblebee shop.
The Humblebee.
It's National Cream Filled Donut Day today as well. Or not today, the 14th.
14th. Yeah.
On the 15th, it's National Creme de Menthe Day,
Ooh.
National Linguine Day, National Cheese Toast Day,
Hey.
National Double Cheeseburger Day. Which,
Hey.
if you're going to have a cheeseburger, have a double.
My God.
In 1885, on 9/15, Constantine Fahlberg received a patent for the artificial sweetener saccharin,
Ooh.
as we know it today. NutraSweet, or whatever what they call it now, aspartame.
Yeah.
Aspartame is saccharin now. In 1981, on the 15th, the USDA announced that ketchup could be counted as a vegetable in the school lunch program.
What?
Yeah.
A vegetable.
I'm gonna have a pack of ketchup, and I ate for today. That's so stupid.
Folks, real quick, go run, get a ketchup bottle, and read the ingredients. Tell me there's a vegetable.
Well, there's tomato, and that's actually a fruit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
On the 15th in 1995, tan M&Ms were replaced by the new blue M&Ms. And the tan ones originally replaced violet M&Ms in 1949, which was the year my mother was born.
Wow. Cool.
On the 9/16, it is National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day, National Guacamole Day, which I love guacamole, and it's also National Play-Doh Day.
Play-Doh.
And Play-Doh was originally created as a wallpaper cleaner. That people just, I guess the kids just started playing with it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Stephanie confided in me on our trip that she used to eat Play-Doh when she was a kid.
Holy cow.
I don't think that I ever ate paste, but I know my friend Eugene had when he was a younger guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just flour and water.
Right,
If
right.
if you make it, you have industrial paste, which is different, but
True. Yeah, I had little Elmers in my day.
little Elmer's.
Little pre-K days.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I don't remember.
Huh.
Well, because we would put anything in our mouth.
Eh.
I don't know that I had weird eating things like that. I did confide in my son last night that he said, "What's the worst thing you've ever tasted?" And I said, well, "Probably Joy Liquid." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yes, your grandmother washed my mouth out with Joy Liquid
I
when
can
I
believe
said
that.
she was stupid."
Ooh. That's all you got?
And I was like, "Mom," and the bubbles were coming out and she didn't squirt it in there. She put it on her hand, grabbed my tongue, and like rubbed it on my tongue.
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh my god, that's nasty. I'm nasty."
Grandma played no games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flashback.
Yeah. But that's your food holidays and history for the week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com for his compiling of the holidays in history. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, Beer Dads, Fan Interference, and Apartment 5B, which is irrational conversations with the cool breezes of any time or any town in USA. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. If you have the Amazon Echo or Echo Dot, just tell AnyPod enable the AnyPod skill and then ask Alexa to have AnyPod play The Man Who Ate the Town podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it if you visited our sponsors, the aforementioned Delicio's Italian Restaurant, 301 Brookstown Avenue, Italian food like you were sitting in Naples or maybe in Little Italy up in Boston. It's more than just spaghetti and lasagna, but we guarantee you it's better than anybody else's spaghetti and lasagna. And they have rich cream sauces, bright and colorful red sauces, wine sauces, vodka sauces, seafood, meat, vegetarian. They have it all right there. Many styles of pasta to choose from and daily specials. They're open from 11 to 9 Monday through Thursday and 11 to 10 Friday and Saturday. Check them out on Instagram and on Facebook.
Donny
Delicio. Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. They have Wolfie's Custard. They have Larry's Beans Coffee, eggs, milk, and cheese from Homeland Creamery, and Ashe County cheese. They have the condiments that you need. They have peanut butter, plastic knives and forks and spoons. They have a wall of beer and wine. The Perk has all of them. Nice. It's better than the convenience store, but not quite a grocery store. You can find them again, 301 West 4th Street. Facebook, they are Washington Perk. On Instagram, they are Washington Perk _WSNC. And on Twitter, they're Washington _Perk.
Aha.
That's a lot to remember. And also the aforementioned Humblebee shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. Visit for cookies, cakes, pies, and other dessert goodies made just for you. Everything is carefully crafted and made 100% from scratch. The Humblebee shop wants to challenge your perception of scratch made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and their Instagram page, and visit thehumblebeeshop.co. That's SHOPPE.co.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email. Tim at themanwhoatethetown.com, Kelly at themanwhoatethetown.com, or TJ at themanwhoatethetown.com, which we need to still set up here.
He's been occupied.
Yeah. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. My name is Tim.
Yeah, my name is Tim as well.
And we are closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.